says we're live, but this hasn't loaded yet. Okay, we're live. Welcome back, everybody. Sunday Market Outlook. The purpose of these outlooks, well, welcome back to the Sunday Market Outlook hosted by Chartaddicts, #1 education service in the world of traders. Yes, I told the team that we're expecting our best trading week yet, so I hope you guys are ready. Now, everything in trading starts with the trader, who's the operator of a system. And so the biggest thing that you guys should prioritize at the beginning of the week is working on yourself, is making sure that you are ready. And I know that this kind of sounds like a lot of like meditations involved and all this other stuff. It's not. What working on yourself means, like, what is actually getting in the way every single week of our trading success? It's usually not like some made up mental thing. It's usually some distractions in your life. So there's like, let's just say on the simplest piece, there's chores you haven't done, there's groceries you haven't picked up, and there's laundry you haven't folded. And those open loops are sitting in the background like a tab on your computer that just stays open and is taking up memory space. And so as you're going through the week, maybe there's a bill you haven't paid. Maybe there's like a DMV thing you haven't done. Maybe there's like your taxes you haven't filed. Maybe there's like a thing that is in the background, and it's usually multiple things. And so you can start, there's different methods on how to deal with those things. Like you start with the hardest one first, and then everything there just gets more exciting to do, because once you like conquer the boogeyman, you're like, that wasn't so bad. And you start like having an itch to go solve those things. But on the weekends is where you play catch up and you get ahead. A lot of people play catch up on the weekends on the chores and the laundry and the groceries and the bills and the lifestyle stuff. But I need you guys to work on the weekends to get ahead. So that way during the week, you're not playing catch up, or you're not just at par, but instead you have a game plan for the week and things are falling in your lap. Trades are coming to you because of your planning. Money is flowing towards you because you are getting ahead of the week, right? And then just letting it all come to you. And so in the beginning of the week, you got to prep your mind, you got to prep your body, you got to prep your environment. And so that's your family environment, that's your siblings, that's your spouses, that's your roommates, whatever it is. Let's make sure that we have a great week. And so for the team, I told them we're about to have the best trading week yet. And so in order for everyone to be a part of that fun, you got to be locked in. You got to make sure that you are in the best state possible. Put a 1 in the chat if that resonates with you guys watching on YouTube. And then for the Chartaddicts members, I don't even have a question in mind, a doubt that you guys are ready. So without further ado, let's take a look at some of the news releases for the week. So what we're going to do first is we are going to cover all the data releases for the upcoming week. Then I'm going to show you guys some of my trade ideas, as well as go through the overall market structure of what's happening on my key trading instrument that I focus on, which is the NASDAQ 100. And then we can go through a few other trading instruments such as gold, forex, or maybe another index like US 30 or S&P 500. So if you guys have any pairs that you'd like me to cover, this is going to be for members only though. If you're in the Zoom, I will cover whatever instrument that you would like me to cover. If you're on YouTube, if you guys put in a super chat, so you pay $2, $5, $10, whatever, I'll answer whatever questions or cover whatever instruments you would like me to cover. You can put down $5 or whatever it is, and you're going to make 500 or 1,000 on that trade this week. It sounds like a pretty worthwhile trade. Okay. So without further ado, let's get into the data releases. Members, put your questions, trade markups, because I'll pull those up too, and whatever instrument you want me to cover in the chats while we get started. So I'm here on Forex Factory, my #1 resource for data releases relating to Forex specifically. So we have the FOMC press conference, and we have a Fed meeting week. How did I not see this coming? May 4th, of course. So Wednesday, May 7th, we have another Fed press conference. Let me see. I'm looking at the expectations here. It would actually help to have Fed Watch tool open. Chicago Mercantile Exchange, one of the largest exchanges in the country. We have NASDAQ, we have the New York Stock Exchange. The CME Group is one of the largest, and they have a lot of good aggregated data. 2 days, 17 hours, so they have a running clock here for the next FOMC meeting. And they also have this beautiful chart to let us know what to expect from this upcoming meeting. They'll show you the percentages, and this is not based on, let's say, like the labor reports and NFP and some of these other data reports. A lot of them are surveys, CPI included. It's a survey, meaning they took a sample size of the population. So they surveyed 20,000 people or 2,000 households, as opposed to 200 million. And then they basically tried to get an idea of the whole country based on this small focus group. This is actually based on the Fed funds futures, which are futures contracts, derivative, like financial contracts that are being traded in real time. And so people are voting with their money, and you can see the live betting odds here. So over here, you guys can see there's a 97% chance that there's no changes to the interest rate policy this upcoming week. It's going to stay at 4.25 to 4.5. Now there's a 65% chance, or the better way to read this is there's a 35% chance of an interest rate cut in June, which I don't think is happening. And then there's about a 50% chance of an interest rate cut in July as well. So now looking at things this way, we're actually looking at a lot of interest rate cuts. It's more on the side of the interest rate will continue to go down this year and into 2026. But in this upcoming meeting, no change. And so we shouldn't expect anything but a market recovery. Whenever there's no emergencies in the markets or any emergencies in the real economy or geopolitical tension, the market's factory settings, its default is bullish, okay? There's billions of dollars of inflows going into the stock market every single day. So all of you guys that work in a corporate job or you just work in some kind of medium to large size company, you have a 401k plan with them. If you work for yourself, maybe you have an IRA or you have some other kind of self-employed retirement plan. All of that money that is being invested in the stock market from Fidelity and Schwab and Merrill Lynch and JP Morgan is going into the stock market by default every 2 weeks that it's getting deducted from your check. Does that make sense? And so if there's nothing wrong and there's no emergencies and there's no reason for the market participants, especially these large players, BlackRock, Vanguard, Jane Street, JP Morgan Advisors, Wells Fargo, UBS, if these large-scale money managers have no reason to short the market, get on the sidelines, or have a risk-off sentiment, the market is default to go up. Put a 1 in the chat if that concept is clear. We teach this in the NASDAQ class, but I think this is a concept of, like, every week people start off with indecision or insecurity about, is the market going to keep going up or is it going to reverse this week? It's a 50-50 coin toss every week. How about you avoid the coin toss by looking at the greater, like the bigger picture and asking yourself, if there's no expectation to change the Fed funds rate this week, then any news that I hear this week leading up to it from Yahoo and CNBC and Forbes and Wall Street Journal that's going to feed me bullshit, which they will this week, about the Fed needing to cut rates or change rates because of Trump's policies, they take a political stance on it or whatever, you as a trader, as a competent Chart Addicts listener, will be able to know that there's nothing going on. It's all noise. So fuck all of it. And the market is determined to go up. On Wednesday, when the market is sitting up here or whatever, and it does a big crash right before the press conference, while every single group chat or trading group or live trading or whatever is saying short the markets because it's going down, you'll be asking yourself, if there's no change to the interest rate and Jerome Powell just read off the piece of paper the whole time and all the institutions expected this, then they're going to start buying again because they go off of predictability. And so you'll be able to buy at a discounted price while everyone's panicking, and you'll be in the best trade all year while everybody else is complaining on Twitter, becoming a philosopher, right? It's not all about losing, and winning is your heart and your soul and your mind. It's all about the greatness of the... Oh, buddy lost his account today. As soon as people become Sun Tzu on Twitter, you know they fucking busted the account. I'll throw that out there. Okay, so we're going to see a lot of that this week. Don't be one of them. Take the Chart Addicts Masterclass, link in the description. Save yourself the hassle. Boom. Let's get on to the charts. NASDAQ. So I actually called this trade for the Chart Addicts members right before we hopped on. We did a quick weekly review. Where we went, Jesus, the Celsius kicked my ass. Where we went day by day of the previous week, checked every New York session, and we looked at the dynamics and the characteristics of each New York session as it relates to our strategy. Did our strategy show up or not? Was it consistent or not? Okay, can we use that data to trade this week or not? And the answer is yes. So I ended up calling this trade right before the market opened. It's a smaller time frame scalp on a Sunday, so take it with a grain of salt. But let's look at the big picture while that runs, okay? Buying high just gives me the heebie-jeebs. I don't like this. I'm kind of disappointed in myself once looking at the fact that I'm buying at a discount, or I'm buying at a premium, excuse me. But previous week has established like a very straightforward range. If I had to redraw this, this is what it would look like. Here's the previous week's high, and here's the previous week's low. This is a very, very good starting point to look at the upper and lower bound. Now, as I described in the NASDAQ Masterclass, we have the average trading range here where most of the activity, right? Let's count the candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's a lot of fucking candles. We haven't even got halfway through. When you look at the actual expansions or the fake outs, it's usually 1 candle, 2 candles for that fake down. On the way up, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 versus 50. So the majority of the time that the market consolidates will be spent in the average trading range. And these extremes are going to be the best trading areas, shorting at premiums and going long at discounts. I'm definitely breaking my rule right now, people. But we have the high here. This thing's going to retest and come back in. 61% retest. So that's why going long here makes sense. Very risky. Don't try this at home. That was a disclaimer. So anyways, we have the extremes, the highs and the lows, and we have the average trading range. And so the market can do 2 things. When you find an area of support that has been validated in the previous week, such as this one, area of support, support, and support. Then what can happen is the market can either come back and retest this area of support or go down as far as a double bottom. Anyone that's taken a 101 class of trading knows that the definition of a bullish trend is when the market is creating a higher lows and higher highs. So higher floors, higher peaks. And so the market creating a double bottom is still valid for buys until it breaks below the low and closes. So if the market stays above this previous floor, then the market is still technically bullish. The buys are valid. The buys will only be invalidated after a closure below the lows. And for me personally, because of my system, the buys are only invalidated once we see a lower high form. Does that make sense? So I am in a buying mindset. I'm in a bullish preference or bullish bias until the market proves me otherwise. And so what I look for this week is I'm going to draw my Fibonacci from this low to this high for Chartaddicts members. And then I'm going to draw my low from, I'm going to draw my another Fibonacci on the macro from this previous low to this high. And we're either going to have a retest over here for the higher floor or a retest over here for the higher floor. I'm favoring this one, okay? Put a 1 in the chat if this is pretty straightforward. Multiple options. We have a very clear range. The market made a beautiful expansion to the upside. Now we're seeing this correction. There is one more option here, which is right now probabilistically about 20, 30%, okay? Which is there is a previous low here where the market established a low, and then now we've established a high. This could create a new range. And if the market makes an expansion during Tokyo, then comes back during London, and then this low cannot be broken, this will become our new support. Okay? We could have a model 1 here tomorrow and up and away. But I would put this probabilistically between model 1, model 2, oh God, model 1, 2, and 3. I'd probably say this being model 1, this being model 2, this being model 3. I'd probably say model 3 about 60%. No, let's call it 50%. And then I'd go 30% for model 2 over here, which is not really model 2. Model 2 would be somewhere here, but let's just play along. And then I'd probably put 20% in the chances that we just create this box here, okay? Now, either way, we're long at this area. So if the market does continue to create a box, we have the best entry. Make sense? Ain't it crazy? Markets are so easy when you want them to be. All right. There's a lot of higher time frame dynamics, but I think for the purpose of this week, I'm going to stick to trading this range. Now, if the market breaks below this low, there's very, very clear ideas of where it's going because last week, let me go and find an empty chart here, if I even have one. Let's get up to the 4-hour here. Maybe the daily. Interesting. So if we're going to look at this on the higher time frames here, the 88.6 fib has been rejected, but it hasn't fully been like, it's not the Fibonacci sequence that we're looking at here has not been finished. It's not complete yet. What that means is if I'm looking at this from the previous high to the low, all right, here's the previous 88.6 kind of highs. We had a little minor rejection here, little blimp. And so what I was just telling the members right before the call started is a rejection doesn't typically look like a perfect rejection and then it just drops. What it'll typically look like is you might actually see a secondary model here where the market will do that phase 1. It'll do phase 2 to go a little bit higher over here for a double top or something close. And then phase 3, where you have the follow through. And so this is a possibility where the market actually corrects this entire range. We drop through. Whoever said 18,700 before this call started, I love you, okay? Now that I'm looking at this, that model 1, that TP1, excuse me, that's exactly where we need to look. And then what I would do is for members, in case you guys want to know, is I would draw my fib from here to here. I would notice this is the 88.6. And then the market would go break back under the 88.6, create this double bottom, which is at the 15,700 or very close to it, right under the 61. And that's multiple fibs coalescing in one place to create a high probability trade. Okay, so even though right now we're going to be trading the lower time frame structure, looking at this previous area of support and this area of support, right? The market breaks through both of these. We have a very clear idea of what the market will do next, which is this double bottom right under the 61 and then continue on this bullish trend as it's been doing. This will be perfect for Fed week. A little fake out early in the week and then a little rally to finish it off. This is what we got here on the smaller time frames in case you guys want to get involved in the fun. All right, I'm waiting for a retest, 19,970 on TradingView. If you guys get that 19,970 retest, boy, oh boy, you get a wick entry of a century. You're going to have a great start to the week. You might just stop trading for the week. Members, are there any instruments you guys would like me to cover? I think we're all on the same page here about NASDAQ. But any pairs you guys would like me to cover? If you guys are watching this on YouTube, as a reminder, that little bell icon at the bottom, if you just click turn on notifications, it actually doesn't tell you when we're live. If you have to click the bell icon and click all notifications from us. That way you actually get the notification on your phone when we go live and you guys can stop missing these live streams. I've been hearing a lot of feedback about it. The emails have been like, yo, you keep saying to subscribe and all this stuff, but I don't even know when you guys are live and I keep missing the streams. this is your solution. All right, peeps. Chart Addicts members, let's do a quick giveaway. I appreciate you guys always being attentive. This is like the nice core group that we have here. So let's just do some quick giveaways. I'm going to give away one coaching session. I'm going to give away one free ticket to the masterclass. I'm going to give away one free seat to the FX Summit. This is for members only here. Okay, maybe we'll give a free seat to the masterclass for someone on YouTube, depending on how I like your answers. If you guys answer better than our own members, I'll have to consider it. Okay, I'm a fair man. So for members, let's see if you get this right. I got to ask a question that not everyone, it can't be too easy that everyone gets it right. Okay, let's do this. Live trade is happening right now. So I'll ask you guys qualifying questions. If the market closes right here, right at this 100%, is the buy trade invalid? Put a 1 if yes, put a 2 if no. Is this trade still valid? If the buy trade still valid, if the market creates a double bottom, if it breaks through our 88.6 that we have right here that we're looking for. Okay, we're sitting in drawdown. Oh no, I'm in drawdown. I'm all the way down here. Is the trade still valid? Put a 1 if yes, put a 2 if no. All right, let's see. Jonathan says 1. The trade is still valid. Devaney says 2 is a no. Josh says no. Carlos says yes. Josh Weathers says yes. DT says yes. So Jonathan was the first person that answered. And Jonathan, is this who I think it is? Is that the Jonathan from the last class? All right, Jonathan, me and you are doing a free coaching session, but you get the coaching session. Jonathan, coaching. I got to write this down and make sure the team gets it. It's going to change your life. Coaching sessions are it's like 2 years of progress in about 45 minutes. It's going to be awesome. All right, let's go through free seat to the masterclass next, and then free ticket to the FX Summit. Actually, let's tie this both together. Jonathan, you're going to get a free general admission ticket to the FX Summit too, because you're the newest student we had in the first one to answer. I like that. I like the confidence. For the next winners, we're going to do masterclass seat and general admission ticket for the members for the FX Summit. Let's go through this. I'll ask a very hard one this time. Okay, we're going to go through valid or invalid, because whenever we're holding a trade, there's always a devil on one shoulder and an angel on the other. And the biggest question that really needs to get asked is this a sign to close or a sign to hold? And in some of y'all's cases, is this a sign to add more? A little degeneration going on. Okay, so let me ask you some qualifying questions. If the market hits our first take profit, okay, let's imagine the market actually blows through the take profit zone. It goes through the take profit zone, and then it comes back in, so it closes back under, closure under, and then does this. Answer number 1 is this is bullish. Answer number 2, if you guys put a number 2, it's bearish. And answer number 3, it's either. It's not clear yet. It could be either one. And you guys can qualify this. You can say it's bullish, but we still have to wait. You can say it's either one, but it's most likely blank. I will pay attention to all the answers here. All right, Christine says it's bullish. DT says bearish. Carlos says bullish. Devaney says bullish, but it could be either. I love it. I love it. 1 and 3. Carlos says the same thing. Joshua says the same thing. And 2-Step says 3. 2-Step, I'm actually going to side with you, brother. 2-Step, I'm going to side with you. 2-Step, I'm going to give you a free ticket to the masterclass. Wait, who else said 3? Let me double check this. Everyone said 3. Everyone said 1 and 3. 2-Step. Let me write this down. 2-Step gets masterclass and general admission. All right. Why is it either? Because now there is a leaning, right? So if the market creates and establishes a higher high, and then we're establishing a higher floor, this leans bullish. But what if the market creates a higher low now, right? And then starts going like this. This is very, very common, right? What would establish the difference between this thing going bullish and this thing crashing is if it establishes a higher low on the retest, or it could even retest the TP1 like this, okay? If the market just can't seem to break this high, or it comes down and then breaks this low, that invalidates this trade. Then the market will come up for a retest and then drop. And so up until this point, we really don't know, okay? If the market comes, like you can short here, don't get me wrong. And if the market gets stuck at this double bottom, it starts to retrace back up, you can get out. If the market comes down and it gets stuck here and you want to enter a buy position, you can get this continuation. But until the market either gets stuck here for resistance or gets stuck here for support and closes above, you don't know. And so either one is valid, and you have to wait to see, okay? And so 2-Step, you get that answer right. I know that was a little bit of a tricky one. I'm trying to keep this relevant to this trade right here. Let's go through another one. Okay. Oh, this is a really good one. So we're looking at this on the 15 minutes. I found the body of the candles in the smaller time frames. That's why you guys have seen that I drew my fib from all the way down here. But now if we zoom back out to the 15-minute time frame, the market is clearly respecting this Fibonacci sequence. So we can see that the 61 fib is being respected here as resistance, support, support, support. At the 38 Fibonacci, we see that resistance, turn to support, turn to support, turn to support. So this Fibonacci sequence is being respected. And then on the 15-minute, we have a rejection of the 88. And so this Fibonacci sequence after 3 validations is now, it's valid. Okay, so we can use it as a reliable source for targets and for entries. Now, if the market closes under the 88 here and fills this wick to the downside, okay, what would be the first question that you would ask to see if this trade is still valid. If I just said that information to you, that the market comes down, and I'll draw you a candle here. Let's just say it comes down, okay, and it closes somewhere. It closes somewhere and fills these wicks with a solid candle. What would be the first question that you would ask if I need you to determine if it's still valid? Should I stay in this buy? Hey, I'm in this buy trade and this thing just retraced all the way down with a big red candle. Should I stay in or should I get out? What would be your qualifying question to me to determine if I should stay in or get out? Devaney says, did it close below the lows? My heart is happy. It's on the floor. It's melting. Somebody get a vacuum, scoop it up. That's exactly right. Devaney, free masterclass seat, which I don't think that you need. And you know what, matter of fact, let's do coaching and free seat to the summit instead, because I think you're going to end up getting the VIP access and getting access to the class anyways. So we'll do that instead. Okay. All three of you guys, I have your names down. Do not let me forget. T, if you're still on the stream, let's make sure that we have those taken down and we're good to go. Okay. Happy and safe trading, everybody. Make sure to take some time to work on yourself. Busy, and the Sunday scaries and the Monday whatevers and all that bullshit. Turn it off. All right. Most people are wrong. Whatever the zeitgeist is, whatever the conversation is, whatever most people's belief is that Sundays are this and that or whatever, most people are broke and they're unhappy and they're miserable. Some people are cheating. Some people are horrible humans. Most people ain't doing what they want to do. They're not wearing what they want. They're not doing what they want. They're not living the life they want, traveling where they want, taking their family on as many vacations, setting up their family for the future like they would like to. They're not working the job they want, not driving. So don't listen to people. Fuck everybody. Listen, people, I learned this the hard way. 2 weeks, 3 weeks after you pass away, very few people are still talking about you, no matter how important you are. Look at the Queen of England died last year. The Queen, she was perfect. In 90 years, unblemished, not a single controversy and not a single scandal. That woman is remarkable. You understand? Who the fuck's still talking about the Queen? Nobody, right? So don't worry about other people's opinions. Listen to God. If you're religious, get closer to that and use that to fuel a clarity that you need for trading. Use that to fuel a confidence that's beyond your physical environment. Your physical environment is not what you want. And so you can't look around and be like, well, I don't have the life I want, so I'm not going to do what I need to do to move forward. Look around. It's shit. No wonder. You have to do something in order to get that environment to change. And so you have to trust in something beyond yourself. Trust in something you can't see. And God is about the biggest thing that you can really lean on. This is not a preaching session, but if you want to succeed in trading, it starts with the driver of the boat, the driver of this Formula One race car. I've given the Chartaddicts members a Ferrari of a strategy. If you are not sharp as the driver, you're going to crash 500 miles an hour into the side of the post at the Formula One in Monaco. I need you to be sharp. You can be on autopilot when you're at work. You can be on autopilot at the grocery store, dropping off your laundry. When you are with your children and your wife, and you are working on something that you're passionate about, and when you are trading, you have to be present. You have to be where your 2 feet are. You can learn every single lesson from a winning trade or a losing trade, and you can effectively deploy your system to make money. All right, happy and safe trading, everybody. Great to see everyone on the stream. Drop a like and subscribe. See you tomorrow every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Catch you guys for live trading where we trade live, copy and paste our trades. And if you're a hater, pull up and trade against us. And then we can laugh at you for losing money. It's all fun. All right. Take it easy, everybody.